Hello everyone, my name is Adreden, and we are going to talk about 7 Days to Die, Alpha 17, and 5 things you are going to have to watch out for. There are many things set to change in Alpha 17, and I want to talk about 5 things that might catch you off guard. Give these things some thought before, or as you're playing, and let me know in the comments below what you think. Also, if there's other things that you can think of to watch out for, you can put those in the comments as well. Many of these clips are from Mad Mole, also known as Joel from the Fun Pimps. Joel is one of the founding members of the Fun Pimps. The videos on Alpha 17 are his creation. I will put up a link to those and you should check them out and his channel. Many aspects of these points are conjecture and thoughts on videos that I've seen, so I'm excited to talk about them more with you guys.
Alright, so the different topics that we are going to cover today are fighting zombies is going to be a lot different because the way that they've done it is they've changed the attacks into light and heavy attacks and changed where the criticals are. They have also changed the stamina system a bit, and zombie AI is different, so that is going to just change the game up a lot. Zombie stuns, ragdolling, and bases, which I think is going to be interesting. And, basically you smack a zombie and then it ragdolls instead of only when it dies it ragdolls, so that's going to be something to watch out for. Most of the old buildings have had changes done to them so that there are little dungeons. You have to kind of have a selected path to go through them. You don't have to, but you can. So I'm going to get into some of the changes relating to that. Cars and bases. I'm kind of curious how those are going to interact. The stealth system. In Alpha 16 they changed it. And so they took out some things. And we're going to discuss a little bit of that. So let's hop into changes to fighting zombies. Okay, so one of the big changes that Joel has talked about is zombies will be able to attack when they walk or probably run. So that is going to change my playstyle quite a bit. If you're a meleeer like me and you're used to running up to a zombie, it pauses and then you can smack them when they're kind of winding up for their attack, interrupting it, then you will probably be in for a surprise if they hit you, right? So with that, we just have to kind of watch out. So one of the things that the Fun Pimps have done is they changed it so that there is a light attack and a heavy attack. Light attacks don't take as much stamina as heavy attacks, but heavy attacks is where all the criticals are supposed to come from. I don't know, we'll see for sure if they did that, but that's what they've said in multiple videos. And so we'll see how that plays out, because if you want to go up to a zombie and knock it out, you are going to have to probably use your heavy attack, meaning that you have to balance your stamina out with the fighting that's going on. So if you're fighting a horde, you're going to have to be very careful with that. So that said, there's another big change with the stamina blackout, in that if you're out and about and you're doing stuff all day, your stamina bar will not go all the way back up, because as you do stuff, there's a little bit that doesn't recover unless you have some food or water. So you have to be very careful if you're out there, say mining or looting, and you run out of the stamina to your like 50%, your normal stamina, and you're going home at night, you know, and a zombie horde comes by, you may not be able to outrun them or something like that. You may not be able to fight them all. So you're definitely going to have to keep that in mind while you're trying to deal with it. But they have said and demonstrated that food and water do fix your stamina. That little bar will eventually fill back up if you eat something or drink something. I'm not quite sure how much. We'll have to find out through gameplay. Some zombies may be very tough. Okay, so in one of the videos, Joel was fighting some zombies. Specifically, he was fighting lumberjacks, and it looks like the way that the guns have been rebalanced is maybe going to really affect the way that we fight zombies. And for example, he shoots this lumberjack so many times, and first of all it just ragdolls, and then he goes and he has to finish it off even more. Though some of this might be balancing, and so we'll see exactly how that's come about. But anyways, so give it some tries and see what happens in your game. There is also a broken arm debuff, and that could change, you know, how fast you're able to fight zombies. If you have to take more time to reload, you're going to have a harder time fighting larger hordes. This is an example here where Joel has full stamina, but it's at 96, and he's fighting zombies. But can you imagine if it was like way lower, right? Because you've been looting places like this, and you haven't had any food. You're really going to need to watch that. Otherwise, you may not be able to run away. He had a stamina, so he could get away. So that's pretty good for this example. Okay, so stunning zombies is a thing that Joel has talked about, and this is a demonstration of Zombie Yof getting shot and falling down. Next we have this little clip here where they're fighting, and the zombies end up getting knocked down after getting some hits on them. Now they get back up. So when you have a base, you'll be fighting the zombies and you'll knock them out, and because there's generally a lot of zombies behind them, what can happen is they can get forced into your base. So right now we only have examples of when they die and then they get forced through, but this is probably going to happen a lot more now that they can get stunned and they're going to get forced through. So here is an example of this stripper zombie coming through the bars, and yeah, well, she's there and you're going to have to deal with her when she wakes up, right? And so I guess now would be a good time to take her out. So here's an example of some zombies pushing a nurse through. I'm not sure exactly how far the ragdoll is going to have to get pushed through to fully, you know, reawaken in your base, or how they're going to deal with something like that's stuck kind of like that halfway through. So, you know, that's going to be an interesting experience for us, I think. Here are some farmers. We knock a couple of them down, and then the zombies force them through. And so at some point they're going to be partway through, and we're going to have to deal with them. If your base falls apart a little bit, they're going to be, you know, easier falling through that hole, and going to come into your base. So car damage in your base. So cars deal damage to blocks now. And that's a good thing if you're out in the wilds, but what happens if your base is not quite constructed correctly? I'm curious about this and how it's going to work. As you can see, they're breaking some things. Here's when they're breaking some doors, but can you imagine if that was a wall of your base, or a support pillar and your roofs collapse, or a critical wall where zombies are out there? So just watch out for this kind of thing, because you have to drive probably a lot more carefully. I'm pretty sure most of you will, but, you know, make sure you watch out for it. Not quite sure how much damage these cars are going to do, but we'll see. So here Joel breaks a ramp as he drives up it, and then he hits this support, causing some damage, but, you know, how much is it going to take to knock out a wall in your base? Even the motorcycle can break blocks. It's smashing them, so, you know, it probably won't be as big of a deal. Tree farms are not immune to the damage from your Jeep, as he could demonstrate right there. Goodbye, tree. Another thing I'm kind of curious about is how much these things weigh, right? Structural integrity is a tricky thing, and so if your base doesn't have properly supported floors, you may have some collapses where you're trying to park one of your vehicles on it and then it falls through. Keep that in mind. I'm not sure what's going to happen with that. Here he takes out a pole, which could, you know, mimic a support pole, so be careful about that. Anyways, definitely watch for this. Be careful with your new vehicles, because I think this is going to catch some people by surprise. Okay, so new houses are dungeons. A lot of the houses in Dyersville have been replaced by these new dungeon houses. So, it's going to be a lot different. We'll be able to dig through the walls, you know, if you just want to shortcut it all, but if you want to follow it properly, you have to go to the entrances that are provided for you and work through all the different paths which are lit by torches. But there are some things you have to really watch for. So other than sleepers, you need to watch out for floor traps. I mean, he's standing on one right now. He doesn't really quite realize it. And he proceeds a little further and falls right through the floor into a bit of a problematic area. You have to be extra careful about this, but if you're used to doing the skyscrapers from Alpha 16, you should be alright. They've changed it so there's multi-building dungeon crawls, but once again, the traps are probably very similar, and you just have to kind of watch out for those. Another thing that you might find is the landmines. Now this is already something you would see in some of the skyscrapers. Here, he actually mentions sleeping vultures, and then they're going to attack you. So, I don't know. We'll see how that plays out. That's going to be an interesting surprise. So here he talks about hazardous pipes, and some of them will either put out steam or fire that will burn you. And so we'll see how that goes. But yeah, watch out for pipes, because who knows what's going to happen. Here he talks about this zombie closet. So maybe watch out. I'm not quite sure how that's going to work out, but zombies might suddenly come out from behind you. There's also a lot of sleeper locations. I used to block them up, but can you imagine putting blocks on every one of these? It would take a lot of time, and this room would be unusable, so careful about that.
And then here's going to be the boss fight.
So he just says boss fight right here. He says there's going to be a boss in here, and this is where all the loot is, so that's going to be kind of interesting. I'm not sure what he has in mind. And here's an example where it says Animal Boss Grace. What is that? I don't really know. Here, on this clip, it says legendary zombies. Are those the bosses he's talking about? I'm kind of curious. So now we're going to go into stealth. So one of the things that changed in Alpha 16 was that there was a new stealth system, and it worked by light, and if zombies could see the light, then they would be able to home to you. But they had to break the smell, and so doing so in Alpha 16, we've been really blessed by not having to worry about having meat on us, and we could just run around like hunting animals and not really worry about it. I think many people have gotten really used to that. It will be quite a surprise, and once you have to keep in mind that you can be found a lot easier if you have certain types of foods on you, or if you've perhaps fallen into something that's given you some sort of debuff of being smelly. Mostly that would probably happen in mods, so we'll have to watch for that once those start coming out. So here is a little clip of when I was doing some hunting, and yeah, this is a pretty common occurrence. You'll be out there, you'll be hunting, you'll start getting some meat, and so definitely remember, meat smells and attracts zombies. So watch out for this one. So as you're harvesting the animal, you'll get some meat, and meat attracts zombies by having a smell. It used to be the case that over here you would see a smell icon, and on your minimap you would also see a little smell icon around you. I don't know what exactly they're going to re-implement, but smell will be probably a thing. So remember that. So here we do some nighttime stealthing. Here you can see that this zombie does not know where I am because I don't have any light, and well, if I had smell, it would know where I am, roughly. And so, but if I get too close, it does know that I'm around and attacks. Okay, so here I'm going to play this around with some light. Darlene here does not know that we're here, and we click on the light and she can see us from a much, much further distance because she can see the light. She's coming at us. She's angry.
Alright guys, so those are the 5 things that I think we're going to have to watch out for in Alpha 17. Once again, that is how zombies fighting will be a bit different, how ragdolls will affect things like toothies or other bases, how we are going to have to watch out now when we loot these new houses for they're a bit like dungeons, how vehicles are going to interact with our bases because they are going to be a lot more, well, they're going to be probably a little destructive in there if we're not careful. And then we have our stealth, which is possibly different. I haven't really heard Joel talk too much about it, but if they have added things back in like smell, we could be in trouble. Anyway, we're going to take a look for, we're going to keep an eye on that. So if you have enjoyed this video, hit the like button. It has taken me a long time to get this video produced, much longer than a Let's Play, and I hope it's worth it. I hope everybody finds some value in it. And if you are new to the channel and if you enjoyed this, check out other videos of mine. I do lots of Let's Plays, and if you enjoy, hit the subscribe button. And if you want to support the channel even more, perhaps you want me to make more videos like this, let me know in the comments, and having more Patreons definitely helps me make videos like this. So, I will see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye. Well, here's actually one more little bonus, and we'll let Joel talk a little bit about it.
Oh shit. That's what happens if you jump out. I hit that button by accident.